G'day guys, welcome to GJBricks. I thought I'd do this update standing up again because I quite enjoyed it last time. So this is another work in progress on the city. I haven't got as much done this week as I wanted to, but I was looking at it just now and going, actually I got quite a lot done really. I did a couple of very late nights to get a few things in place. So I want to show you what I've laid out and what's coming together, and then I'm going to talk to you about what I'm actually going to be doing in terms of what's going where in the city to show you it, and a couple of things I've realised in putting everything together. It's coming along quite well, to be perfectly honest. It's a hell of a lot of work to do. Anybody who has a city knows that. I probably need to be putting in sort of a job's worth of hours per day to actually make any decent progress on this. So I'm going to try and make sure I get at least 2 or 3 hours done a day this week. I've got a ton of sets I need to build as well to fill it out, so I'm going to talk you through that in this, just to show you I've got a few things in place to actually as sort of holders and things like that. So let's get into the city and I'll show you it, and let me know in the comments what you think of everything I'm doing here, if you've got suggestions or improvements. Okay, let's go. I'm going to start over here because this hasn't changed yet. I actually really liked how this was laid out, so I've left that as it is. This whole area here, obviously the bridge at the moment is dismantled. Well, it's not dismantled, it's here. Anybody who's just seen my Bricklink update, I did. I've got the parts now to do a big expansion on this, so I'm probably going to make that one of my next sort of mock projects, is in making this thing huge. It's going to be, it literally is going to be huge, but I'm going to do that in another video and actually talk you through it. So things like the docks, Ninjago City and stuff are still going to live in the harbour area. I'm leaving the harbour area out for the time being just because it makes it a lot easier while I'm putting new stuff in, just to have it there out of the way like this. But it's basically going to be 2 of these tables, so it's a big substantial area. Even with that sort of doubled in size, it still gives me a huge amount of space for boats, which is lucky because I've got a couple of container ships to put in now. Things like the fishing hut can go in there, the fishing shop can go in there, my Scooby-Doo lighthouse can go in there. Well, it's not a Scooby-Doo lighthouse, it's my lighthouse, but I've called it a Scooby-Doo lighthouse. So that's going to work. So, but as you can see, I'm leaving this out for the time being just because it does make it so easy for me to get in and out at the moment while I'm doing these raised areas. Now let's get to the first raised area over here. The residential district is now over here on a plate that takes, it's about 4 and a bit of the sort of main green plates, and what I'm actually realised I'm going to do is put another couple behind here. So I've still got this sort of whole walkway here. I can get to the theme park area quite easily, and then that works sort of as a good space. And I like how sort of visually appealing that is. What I also want to do there is then using this space underneath, something I really did want to do in the old city, the old layout, is actually put an underground in here. So that crossover is going to move out that way. So move that way. And then this area here, I'm just going to put just a small, so it doesn't need to be a huge subway station, but then I can actually have a subway exit up into the residential area. It actually makes a lot of sense. And I can leave sort of a chunk of this area open without it looking too silly in front of the cargo trains. So I like that. I think that's going to work really, really well. There's so many good subway stations. I love how Robin Hood Bricks did his one. Very, very thoughtful, well laid out. So that's a good inspirational. I was looking at another one today. There's some really good examples of subway stations out there. So I think that's going to be really good. I'm not going to rush to get that in there. I might put a couple of platforms in there just so it's actually laid out and we can see it, but that's it. The cargo area here, I haven't done anything to improve that yet, obviously, because I need to build stuff. But what's going to happen is I can build out about that far, so it comes out slightly past the edge, and that gives me about one of the big grey plates basically in size to build on, which will then lead nicely into the harbour area here. So there's beautiful Monkey Kid Secret HQ. Love that set. It's going to look great in the harbour. So yeah, I've got I found an old set that's inspired me as to how I'm actually going to do the cargo depot now, so that's really cool. I'm looking forward, again, so many ideas, looking forward to building that. But Then we get up here, and finally I've got a massive area for my theme park. Well, it's not massive compared to someone like Dr. McBrick, but it's big compared to what I've ever had in the past. You can see this is raised up a whole 30 centimeters because I really wanted to make that a kind of real showpiece. But what I'm actually going to do as well is put a mid layer in here somewhere, which is either going to be something like a car park, maybe, or something a bit more exciting like maybe a bat cave or Iron Man's headquarters or something like that. But I just want to make use of that space. It's such a beautiful space to have in there that I can use to do something. So the trains all run nicely under it, so they'll have tunnels here. And like I said, I'm going to put another raised area in here to about there. So it's not going to be anywhere near as big. Oh, actually a bit further, about there. It's not going to be anywhere near as big as I originally hoped it would be, but that's going to become the back area of the Ninjago district. So that's where I'm going to put the temple, probably build up to a mountain here, which will have the Ninjago Temple of Air Jitsu on the top of it. And then just do a couple of other bits of Ninjago there. And then down here, I really want to kind of pack this area in with little builds that complement that kind of the theming of the Ninjago / Monkey Kid stuff. So, you know, really kind of get that Asian theme in there with the train track running through the middle of it. I don't think that's going to look too bad at all. And then I'm going to actually have this area covered here, so there'll be 2 tunnel exits there, probably about there, so that will keep that area kind of hinged off. I'm not too worried about that junction being kind of in the mouth of a tunnel. It doesn't really matter too much as long as that's available, but I think that'll make that really interesting. So that's my thinking there. Now we go across here, and remember those girders I bought? These are going to be used to make a bridge across here from this table to this table, which I thought would be quite unique and different. That way it connects up the 2 areas. And again, we get over here, so we see the city area. Let's just take a step back. Now, Ninjago City is not staying there, for the record. I've just got it there because it was a convenient place to leave it. That's actually going to become the Grand Emporium. That's going to be the space for that one. Then here, there is actually a 64 base plate length there. So that's going to become, the hospital's going to live here in that space. So I've got to build a mock for that one. And then there'll be a main road through here, down here. This area where the school is, that's again just temporary. That's actually going to be like a warehouse area for the cargo area. So that's what that's going to happen there. Then along here, I'm going to do probably something to complement, you know, a beachy area for the citizens, so they can come into the harbour area, because this table, these harbour tables will come right up to here. So that'll be a harbour area, a beachy area there, with probably the crab shack and a couple of other things up there. The shrimp shack, sorry, from the hidden side, and a couple of other things in there. And then going along here, this area here is all going to be train station. So train station, again, got another plate to there. So I've got a pretty decent size area for a train station there. I could put another modular here or a car park or something. I haven't decided. Probably going to go with a car park, to be honest. And then I've got space for another modular there. There's going to be the main road going through here where this Lego truck is at the moment that needs a clean desperately. I bought it off of Gumtree, and it does need a clean. And then that's going to go up onto this little mid-level, which is going to have the diner there and probably the Palace Cinema here. I'm not sure. Again, so road comes up, then the road's going to go up again onto this upper level, which is just going to have a road along here, front of the Ghostbusters HQ, round there, so along this edge here, and then that road across there. So that's how that's going to work. And then over here, I'm not going to have any roads areas over here. I'm going to put parking here, probably a couple of sort of facade type builds over here, and then have more modulars across here. So I probably am not going to change these ones around too much. You know, restaurant, assembly square, detective's office, and then here I think I'm actually going to build another plate forward so I can get 2 modulars in there as well, because I think that'll look quite good packed in there. And there's enough space there as a width to actually have a kind of some alleyways as well going on. That'll just kind of separate out a bit of an area there. I think will work. This obviously isn't staying here. This is just temporary. I don't know where that's going to go in the new city. That might be being dismantled, unfortunately, or changed into something else. So that's coming out. And then over the back there is the Space Centre behind the Ninjago buildings that, as I said, are going over that side of the city. One thing on the Space Centre, I wanted the Ghostbusters HQ there. I love that building. I think it's a prominent piece, but as you can see, you can't blooming see the Space Centre there now. It's so big. So what I think I'm going to do is use more of this kind of height, and actually I think put a second level on here, so I can do something in the middle there, which perhaps could be the Batcave, or it could be Iron Man, it could be something interesting here, because I'm going to have sort of a bit of a park area here, another modular in there, in that space there, park and some facades. So actually having a mid-level in there gives me an opportunity to put more stuff in, which is good. So I'm really, as you can tell, bloody excited about having these layers. It's done exactly what I hoped. Let's just take a step back. I haven't put everything in, obviously. I've got, like, you know, that's my backlog of modulars to build up there. But layers, I think this has made, this is what I've been striving to do the whole time I've been trying to build a Lego city, is actually have this kind of stepped approach, this sort of layers, and having these 3 layers here changes everything. The dynamic of the city is completely different. Having this over here, having things running under stuff, I think just makes it just feels right. This feels good sitting up here. The fact I can do a subway here, it all has a lot more of a flow. I think it works really, really well. And that way I've got this kind of panorama here of the city sitting that you can see. And then I've still got all the stuff down here I can put in. So I'm really happy. And then the harbour area here, I'm chuffed to have enough space for a harbour area now as well. It's going to be a 240 by 240 space. So, you know, a 2.4 metres by 2.4 metre space. It's big space. It's a big space, so I can fit the container ships in there quite well. I actually picked up a second container ship hull from somebody, which is I haven't opened it yet. These hulls are big. So I've got the new shark boat, the new dive boat, and I've got 2 of the old cargo hulls to do. So it's going to be a busy area with this in here as well, plus Destiny's Bounty. You can see this is my build table at the moment. This is, I literally put everything out of the way while I was doing this video. I just really wanted to show you where I was up to and say I am making progress on the city. I am doing, the work is happening, it is coming along, and I was really excited just to show you how, taking a step back, I think that looks great. Personally, I think having this mid-level here is going to be great. The diner, I think, is going to work absolutely beautifully in that space. I think that's going to be really, really good. Palace Cinema, again, 2 very complementary buildings, I think. But the good thing is, I think I can change the buildings around as well. But I feel like the diner works well there, and I've got a little space there to do something else. So I'm just going to figure out what that's going to be. One thing I do really want to get in is this tuning garage somewhere, so I've got to find a home for that. But otherwise, you can see I've got the trains coming through here. I'm actually going to have 3 platforms, so 1, 2, 3. This is just in here temporarily. I'm just using it as a spacer. This is actually going to live on the bridge, believe it or not. So the bridge struts will come down to here, and then that will be the crossover on the bridge. And then in here, yeah, so platform, platform, platform. Just want to make a proper grand station, and then have the main building here. Could be plate and a half, I don't care. I want it to be dramatic, and that building there is being dismantled as donor parts for that purpose, as I said before. I also put one of these in. I just want to show this. I got one of the new Speed Champion sets, the 8 wide ones. I think these are blooming great. I think that looks absolutely awesome. It is big. It is big compared to like a normal city car. But it's not unreasonable, you know. It's not actually as bad as I expected, apart from the fact this has the wing mirrors on it, which actually makes it 10 wide, which you can easily just push in or whatever. But I think they look really good, personally. And they're perfectly in scale with things like the Ghostbusters Ecto 1 and stuff like that. Some of those more kind of detailed builds. Now you put it next to one of these Speed Champion sets, and not quite the same, a bit smaller, but I just want to say I'm going to do a little mini review of this because I really like it. I'm going to get a couple more of them. I think they're fabulous. Anyway, here we go. You can see I've been building out my my houses here as well. I still love Emmett's house on the angle like that one. So this is just going to have a street along here. I might make it sort of weave through the buildings a bit here and then have, like, you know, these more odd ones here, perhaps in that back area and raised up slightly. This area here, I'm not sure the Ferris wheel is going to survive. It's just too big. It really is. I've got the carousel, which is a much more reasonable footprint in terms of how much space it takes up. So the roller coaster and the Pirates Barracuda Bay are in there together because I'm actually going to be combining those into one thing, which I will be working on very soon. And this is just in here as filler. I got that one off someone. I actually bought that for parts. They built it just because I like to build every set I buy, but that is purely for parts. Got some great parts in it though. It's a good set. I like it, but I'm not sure it's going to last. Much of it's going to last for this one. So anyway, I'm going to stop there. I have talked quite a lot. So let me know in the comments what you think about this grand plan. You can see it coming together. Everything I talked about in my last few videos has come together. That area there is going to be higher up. I think that's going to be really quite cool. I'm going to have to spend quite a lot of bricks in terms of building out like these layers and stuff, but I think the more I think about it, this is going to get another building here, possibly two. There's actually room to build two forward here, so I could do, and those are just going to have like a promenade type build across there, so that would work quite well as a sort of promenade kind of feature. And then that way the station doesn't need to be huge. It doesn't need to be a realistic size and fit all of my long trains onto it. It can be quite short. Again, as some of other city builders have done, it works quite well as being sort of smaller. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking now. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit subscribe. I do post regularly, and as you can tell, I've got a hell of a lot of work to do in this city, but I am pumped to see how it's coming along. Anyway, here's a couple more places you can find me online. Go and check them out. Feel free to subscribe to my website. I do put different content on there. I tend to share mocks and things from other people on there as well. And here's a couple more videos I think you will enjoy. Thank you so much for watching tonight, and I will speak to you again very soon.